to talk to an artist, the show where I get to interview artists that have been involved in art distillery and art cultivation at 723. My name is Macy Liptoy. I'm the pastor of 723. And this week I get to interview Lucila Rojas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Macy. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you. We've been trying to connect for a while, so I'm super excited that it finally worked out. Lucila has been involved in Art Distillery almost since the get-go, since the creation of it and what was it supposed to be and kind of what we do. And she has been involved in art cultivation. You've seen her perform potentially as the Fat Cat Clown, which is always a fan favorite. And also as one of the performers in Generations of Adam this past October. So you kind of been involved in everything and just been really there and really present since the beginning. So if we haven't had a chance to kind of meet you yet, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm part of the core team of Art Distillery. I joined the team, I would say 3 years ago now. Wow, that's crazy. So I joined initially doing puppets for Dirty Turk. They needed a puppet master. And then one of the actors ended up having to go away for college and they needed to fill a slot. So Oakner and I became really close and she offered me the part. Most because Art Distillery doesn't do auditions. We just kind of go off the vibe of people. So yeah, I started reading for Oslem and Dirty Turk, and I did that, and then I was like, wow, I can't get enough of these people, and theater in general. It's just a great atmosphere to be around in. So that's how I initiated, and I do that part-time. I also own my own restaurant. It's called Main Street Cafe in Louisville. So if you hear some background noise, that's what it is.
Awesome. That's so cool. So,
Yeah.
so just kind of, been there since the beginning. How did you get involved in, like, how did you come to hear of Art Distillery? Or how did you get involved in theater and performance? Was there something that you got involved in high school, or is this kind of a new thing? Just kind of tell us your background a little bit.
So I got started in high school. Yeah, I was a fellow thespian,
Love it, love it.
Yeah, I did it all throughout high school, and then I went to college for it. I went to Collin College, and then I transferred out to UTA, where I got my Bachelor of Fine Arts. And then I love it. I can't get enough of it. It is hard work, and it takes a passionate person to be involved in the arts. So with Art Distillery, I was working actually for Caramia Theater, and Ilkner, which is the founder of Art Distillery, happened to be volunteering for them, and she's good friends with Ariana, the managing director. So we kind of just got to talking one time, and she's like, oh, we're doing this show, like you would be great, like I want to bring you on for puppetry.
Yeah.
All right. And then yeah, that's how it started. And I just, nothing ever happened of it, but I happened to land at the Art Distillery house by accident. I was auditioning there, and they were for Prism Theater Co., which is now a collaborative partner with Art Distillery for Art Cult. And Oakner opens the door, and I was like, oh, hey, lady that I just met a week ago.
That's awesome.
Am I in your house? And she's like, yeah, what are you doing here? So that's how it started.
That's so cool. It's so cool how worlds collide like that.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
awesome. So this has been kind of a really cool journey for Art Distillery and just doing something brand new in the city of Dallas of, a company that really works to empower marginalized communities to tell their stories, to listen to people. But I imagine that's had, some challenges as well. It's doing something brand new is never easy. So what's been the most challenging aspect about creating, and being part of this new performance kind of nonprofit?
Um, I would say outreach to different communities within our community, right? Sometimes we want to target specific audiences. Like, okay, well, how do we get to them, or how do we get them to come? I know for Generations of Adam, half of the storyline was, of Hispanic heritage or culture. And if we wanted to show, target that audience, it's like, okay, well, how do I get my Spanish speaking grandma to go to the theater, where she's never been to a show before, or she's fearful that she's like, I'm not going to understand, what's the point, and it's kind of like ways to get people there. But once they're there, they want to come back. So it's just the initial step.
Yeah, for sure. I feel that, acutely as being, a church leader as well, of like just getting people to trust that like this will be a positive experience and be good. And then once you're there, you're like, oh yeah, I'm comfortable. Yeah. I know this place, but getting people to become part of it first off is definitely a big challenge. So I feel that. So what's been the most, on the flip side, what's been the most rewarding thing? Is there like a particular story, a memory that you think of where you kind of felt like, oh my gosh, this has been so incredible and I'm so thankful that I get to do this?
Audience feedback. After every show, whether it was Dirty Turk, Generations of Adam, the healing talk back with the psychologist, an art cult. There's been so many instances where people just come up to you and they thank you. That's all they want to do sometimes, like, thank you for, making me feel comfortable and welcome. And like my story matters, and that's very rewarding. And sometimes, they give you a hug and it's like, oh, it's the, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Just, having that feedback. So on that same kind of vein of, favorite memories and stuff like that, is there a particular like art distillery memory that stands out to you? That's one of your favorite kind of stories to tell about your experiences with art distillery.
So one time there was, I won't say their name because there was an art cult performer, and they had never performed in front of people ever. And so he wrote a lot of poetry, just an escape. And, he came to us and he was like, I want to do a rap song. And I was like, wow, okay, yeah, let's do it. Because that's what art cult is for. It's, a platform for anybody to perform whatever they choose to, just a medium of expression. And I remember he was so nervous prior to the show. And I kept telling him, like, you're going to do great. Like, you already had the tech. These are your words, You just have to be confident. And, throughout his performance that he gradually, became more confident, even just like in those, it was like a 2-minute performance.
Right.
And you just saw the growth right there and then of that person. And afterwards, he sent me a text message. I'm very grateful towards Distillery and to the entire team. It just really warmed my heart.
Wow, that's so lovely. Yeah, I love that art cult is a place for anybody and everybody to kind of just do their thing and perform, and and everyone's, I kind of describe that as in some ways a high school theater group that isn't trying to compete with one another. that really family thing where it's not like also that flip side of cutthroat, because it's like it doesn't matter. Like, we're here to support one another and to encourage one another. So
yeah, that's a really great description, actually.
Thanks. I want to write that down somewhere.
Yeah. like a very mature group of people.
Yes, a mature like theater class basically is
Yeah.
like this. Yeah. So we're kind of in this. I think we're 5 months into the pandemic, which I never
Yeah.
thought I'd be saying those words. So it's pretty rough. But I found that people are at home and potentially may have more time on their hands, may not, but are kind of feeling pressured to create. And I think that's been across the board. A lot of artists have felt like, oh, I should use this time to create, but have been dry on inspiration. Because when you're stuck inside, like what can you find, and you can't see your friends or whatever, what can you find for inspiration? So I've been asking kind of everybody, what have you found that has inspired you recently, creatively, or just to get up and keep going the next day, or whatever it is? Where do you find inspiration?
For me, it has been very much nature,
Mm,
um, and other people's work. Because there are some people that are incredibly energized at the moment, and it's just seeing what they're creating and like running from like you have when you witness somebody's work, you yourself have your own creative thoughts and stuff.
yeah.
um, it's mostly personally it's whether you want to act on those ideas or not,
Mm,
and sometimes just writing them down is enough.
mm.
um, Dreams, I've had a lot of
Wow.
weird dreams,
Mm,
some nightmares, but you take what you can get from them.
yeah.
And yeah, so I've been walking, and nature has been a huge stress reliever for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I feel the same. I've taken up cycling, and just being outside makes such a huge difference in your mood.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I love that. So one of the things, again, like, we're here and we have access to a lot of really great, inspiring tools at our hands. So I've been wondering, what books or films would you recommend that everyone should read or watch right now? Maybe something that is new to you, or something that is an old, like, fond memory. What are things that you would say, hey, while you have the time or you have the space, make yourself sit down and either read or watch this movie or a book?
movie. I would definitely say 13th on
Yeah.
Netflix. Uh, like by
Yeah.
far, just just watch it. It's incredibly informative. Um, and even if you are familiar with what the subject matter is, it'll give you some incredible data to back up, what we've already been witnessing, which is systemic racial injustices. So definitely watch that. For books, I have been more so into I want to align, my spirituality with my physical practices. So being more mindful throughout the day is something that I've been practicing. And the book that has helped me with that the most has been, oh man, what is his name? Eckhart Tolle.
Maybe.
It's called A New Earth.
A New Earth. Okay.
A New Earth. So I really enjoyed reading that book for that reason. It's just it's very grounding and centering. So yeah.
I love that. I love the whole mindfulness kind of movement of being centered in yourself. So I'm about to get that book. I'm gonna order on Amazon right now,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that sounds cool.
And he has a previous one that he wrote, which is The Power of Now, which is super popular.
Wait, I think I've heard of this. He might be on a podcast I've listened to.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really
He wrote
cool.
A Power of Now, and I think this is the second one, A New Earth. So
Nice. Okay, good recommendations. Like
uh,
solid book recs.
I have more.
uh, I have 1,000 more. Let's sit down for
Yeah.
another hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, kind of wrapping up our conversation. Um, I wonder if, and again, this is a question I ask everyone because I'm always curious of the answer. If you could have the platform to, uh-oh, okay, let's hope that didn't mess up. Apparently I got signed out because I'm a meeting. Oh, whatever.
Oh, I'm
Whatever.
still,
No,
yeah,
we're still here, so that works out
yeah,
great.
yeah,
That'll be a weird little blip in the middle of our interview. It's fine.
yeah.
Um, so, where was I? Oh yeah. So I'm asking everyone kind of if you had a platform where you could distribute information to everybody and you could broadcast like one or two sentences to the whole world and everyone would really like hear the message and also kind of take it in and soak it in and really take your message to heart, what would be the one thing you would want everyone in the world to hear?
Oh man, this is a
I know.
good one, Macy. Hmm.
It's my favorite question to end on because
I
I don't
know.
usually send it in advance and everyone's like, oh man.
Yeah. What would I want? This is a lot of pressure. I'm getting a little bit. um, I would say that um, my mind, because I've been doing a lot of research on dismantling colonization, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's where my brain is headed.
Yeah.
But I think overall is, you know, the biggest thing you're going to leave behind would be how you treat others. The
Mm-hmm.
energy that you are leaving behind on this world matters more than anything else. And and you have power over that energy within every second of your life. So I think that would be it.
I love that. That's a really, I think that makes the difference when you realize like we're all connected and so what
Yeah.
what I do affects someone else, affects someone else, affects someone else. And so how we live our lives makes a difference to the rest of the world. And we need to
Yeah.
be kind.
Yeah. Compassion goes a long way.
True that, for
Yeah.
sure. Well, thank you so much for making time. I know you're super busy with the restaurant, and I really appreciate you being able to be on this show and to be, to willing to be vulnerable and share your story with us. And so I want to thank you so much for joining me today on
Of
this show.
course. Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was amazing. And I enjoyed seeing your face.
I know.
Yeah.
I miss people.
We've seen each other sporadically here and there, but definitely not enough.
No, not definitely not enough at all.